people. It is Dr. Cree. If you can't make it to the live session, I do plan on reposting it to my Facebook page and the Brownstone page, as well as leaving it on this page as well. Tonight, we're going to talk about high blood pressure. Do I have it or do I not have it? So I get a lot of people that come into my office and they're like, my blood pressure is up. It was up a while ago, but I don't have high blood pressure. And it's like high in my office as well. So that's always a concern for me of what's really going on. So if you really want to know what's going on with your blood pressure, you can go to the pharmacy and pick up one of those blood pressure cuffs. The better ones are the ones that go here. You can pick them up, put them on your keep on, and check one first thing in the morning. You can check it when you're active. Just kind of have a running log of what your blood pressure really is during normal situations, and not just during the doctor's visits. Because I know a lot of times people get really nervous when it comes to the doctor, but at home they're like, my pressure's always fine at home. So I'm like, you have to prove to me that you do not have high blood pressure. Prove that to me by bringing me in your readings, and also bring your meter so we can calibrate our machine to your machine. So what really is high blood pressure? Hey, Ms. Rudolph, how you doing? What is high blood pressure? The days of old are gone as far as 120 over 80. Everybody knows that they're like, it's got to be 120 over 80. But now the new recommendation is that if at any age, a good number is less than 140 over less than 90. So if you have numbers in the 130s over 80s, that's a pretty good blood pressure. However, if you are over 60 or older, they give you a little bit of leeway because they want the blood perfusing so you don't drop your pressure, fall, break a hip, maybe. So they let your goal number is less than 150 on the top and less than 90 on the bottom. So less than 60, that's less than 140 over 90. Over 60, that's that'll be less than 150 over 90. So you have two different categories. But if you're someone that has diabetes, it doesn't matter your age. Your goal number is less than 140 on the top, less than 90 on the bottom. If you are someone that has kidney disease, your number is going to be less than 140 over 90. So the true definition of high blood pressure is having two elevated blood pressures. So there's going to be two more than 140 over 90s, or over two 150 over 90s, depending on your age. So say, for instance, you come in, you got these two high readings. We say you have high blood pressure. So how do we actually get high blood pressure? People that are overweight can have high blood pressure. People that eat a lot of salt. Oh, you need some help, Renato? We're going to help you out. People that eat a lot of salt, that can be an issue. That can be an issue if people eat a lot of salt. And also family history. You can be very skinny, have a good healthy eating lifestyle, and still end up having high blood pressure if it runs in your family. And I tell people all the time, you can't outrun your family history. So we find out, yes, I have high blood pressure. So what do we do? So I know all over the internet, there's a lot of talk about lisinopril and ACE inhibitors. We'll talk about where that comes into play. But first of all, if you're African American, and most of you that are on the call are right now, their goal is to try and start you on one or two different classes. One is a water pill, and then the other one is what's called a calcium channel blocker. There's either amlodipine, Procardia, or verapamil. So things that you have to be concerned about. People are always wanting a water pill because they're like, it can help me lose weight. I'm holding on to water in my stomach, but you have to be careful because the water pill can deplete your potassium, make you have cramps. So you may want to take a banana a day if you're taking that. And also the calcium channel blockers class, it can cause a lot of swelling in your legs. So it doesn't matter how long you've been on either of these medicines, they can you can have these side effects. So your doctor will either start you on one, bring you in 2-3 weeks later. Hopefully you have your log to show what your pressure is doing at home. And then from there, he can say, or she can say, stay at this current dose or increase the dose if need be. I usually try and max my people out on the first pill before I add the second one, so that we know that we've gotten all the benefits of the first pill. So you either can max out on the first pill, then start the second one, or start the second one while you're on the first one. Or thirdly, they can just start you on a combination pill if your pressure is that high. So where does this lisinopril come into play? You've seen all the pictures on Facebook with the swollen mouth, the eyes swollen shut, the mouth, swollen. That is called angioedema. And African Americans are more likely to have this side effect to lisinopril or anything in it in a pril, if you look at your box. So the concern is that you want to try and stay away from this class if you can at all possible. But you need lisinopril or its cousin losartan if you're diabetic. So you need that on board to help protect your kidneys from the diabetes. So that's where the gray area comes in. A lot of times doctors start you on it because, hey, you got a diagnosis of diabetes, put you on the lisinopril, and not knowing that as African Americans, we can have some problems with it. So if you do have a problem with lisinopril, it could also make you cough. That is the number one side effect of it. If you're starting to have a cough, you don't have a cold, it's not sinus season, and you're on lisinopril, you may want to talk to your doctor about being on the class as an ACE inhibitor. And then they can change you and put you on a cousin of it, which is losartan or the equivalent. And that does the same thing as a lisinopril. It protects your kidneys, but it's also safer in African Americans. So our goals in mind. Our goal is going to be less than 140 on the top, less than 90 on the bottom. That's if you're less than 60, and if you're diabetic, if you have kidney failure. So why is it so important to go ahead on and treat your blood pressure and not just say, I'll just watch it, because high blood pressure originates in the kidneys. So it can actually do damage to your kidneys if you don't treat it. If it goes uncontrolled for so long, it will start to damage your kidneys. And that's why a lot of young people, if you see some young people on dialysis, you're like, man, why are they in dialysis? They're only 40 years old. A lot of times it's because they have the diagnosis of high blood pressure and it was never treated. So you have to be really, really careful. There's a fine line in that. You need to make sure that it's treated. And even if you want to do herbal things, a lot of people have success with taking garlic. My grandmother swore by it. It's okay to do, but you got to make sure you're balancing that garlic with the numbers, and you may have to do garlic plus a pill. Just know that you may have to do a pill. And I get asked all the time, does apple cider vinegar help? Yes, it can help. But also keep in your mind, you have to have good numbers with that apple cider vinegar. So if it's high, you drink the apple cider vinegar, you got a high stress job, it's probably gonna go up a little bit more. So you may need a medicine. And just remember, you cannot outrun your family history. Sadly enough, African Americans have a higher rate of getting high blood pressure and also kidney disease. A lot of that runs in our family, and we have to try and do all that we can to combat that. We can eat better, exercise, not have a sedentary lifestyle, but you still can end up having high blood pressure. So our goals are buy blood pressure cuffs. The ones that goes up here are the more accurate. If you have a wrist, you have to be careful to hold it up here level to your heart just to make sure that it's going to read accurate. So that can get tricky at times. So get a blood pressure cuff for up here. And then make sure you know that, I see Michelle has joined, so she makes me think of somebody can have low blood pressure as a result of your medications. So make sure that you're not on too much medicine. So a lot of times it can be high. You can start to lose weight. You can start to watch your diet. And then in turn, you find out, oh, I'm starting to have headaches. I'm starting to have dizziness. I fainted. It could be that your blood pressure is too low. Now, the symptoms that you can have when your blood pressure is too high are very similar to the ones that you can have if it's too low. You can have headaches, you can have dizziness, you can have chest pains, or you can have nothing at all. High blood pressure is indeed a silent disease. People can have it and not have any symptoms whatsoever. So you have to be careful to know that, hey, just because I feel good doesn't mean that I am good. And if left uncontrolled, you can have things like aneurysms, you can have a stroke, and you can have kidney failure. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna get us some good blood pressure cuffs. We're gonna get to walking. We're gonna get to exercising. You can feel free to do your herbal supplements, the garlic, the apple cider vinegar, the mustard, whatever your grandmama told you that you should do. They're okay to do, but also know that see your doctor at least twice a year. But if you have high blood pressure, you probably need to be seeing them every 3 months. And then that way you can just have a good blood pressure reading. Does anybody have any questions before I sign off? No questions? Okay. Well, thank you guys for joining. And I will be back in 2 weeks. I'll let you guys know the topic. I got the post that you guys wrote that said all the things that you wanted to talk about. I will look at those, and I'm also going to post this on my wall. Feel free to share it. Feel free to follow me on this page. It's Dr. Cree, spelled Dr. Out, K-R-E. Thank you, and have a good night.